大了不？什么可以？他开始导发战斗，就很花时间在设计上。
有什么活动？
导发战啊，打一次就5分，那个就很耗时间了。神魔的活动不知道哎，我喜欢玩神魔，只是他那有时候活动真的很耗时间，我不太喜欢。咦？干，现在开到好几trăm万，然后奇怪，为什么打开的画面不一样？哎呀，这一次要搜索居然要按住R3，以前按一次就好了。
Is that a statue of me? That's new.
靠腰。
I guess I should be flattered by the statue.
不是哟。
It feels wrong. Especially when my job's only half done.
我觉得以前比较简洁有力一点。
Something was transmitted from the top of the spire. I guess I have to find a way up there. Maybe I can jump to that ledge behind me.
靠腰。
Machine carcasses. Remnants from the battlefield light. almost overrun by the machines Hades controlled. But we pushed through. Should be able to jump back and reach those doors behind me. Pullcaster. I should be able to pull that crane closer. There we go. Now, how to cross over to the spire. Looks like I can use my pullcaster on that. Should be able to get up there now. I thought someone was helping me when he gave me slants. Looks like he tricked me. Transmitted something through the spire. Did he save Hades? Why would he do that? Well, if I can figure out where he sent it, I can track him down. Hopefully the transmission node at the top will tell me. Well, doesn't look like I can keep climbing this way. Looks like this panel's ajar. Can I go up through the inside? Elevator? Let's see.
Access lift activated.
Lucky day.
Engaging maintenance configuration.
The whole thing is opening up. Wonder what the Carja will make of this. There's the note. Bastard.
Well, Aloy, I see you finally figured it out. To be honest, I'm surprised it took you so long to discover my ruse.
You rigged the lands to steal Hades. How could you be so reckless?
Reckless. You're the one who tried to purge Hades before its precious knowledge could be extracted. The mysterious signal that woke it, for example. Or why to obtain one of those Gaia backups you've been having such a hard time finding?
If you knew, why didn't you just tell me?
I've been having problems of my own these past 6 months, Aloy. The difference is, I've made progress. So once your anger at my entirely necessary deception has faded, why don't you come out here and find me in the Forbidden West and learn all that I've discovered?
Oh, I'll come find you, alright.
Yes. Well, and the coordinates should make it simple enough. Even for you.
这什么鬼情节靠看拢无。
这样，剧情看不懂啊。
没有问题，是它的地形就是火焰
哦，
靠北。
我懂你意思。
Better let Varl and Murad know what I found.
就白痴 NPC。
Wonder what she found up there. A simple explanation, I expected. You went inside it, and it
就是想要把主
transformed.
角
Almost
烧
like the
死
day of，the
然后
battle.
结果自己
It can
死
only be
在里
grateful
面。
that it's a stormy day. Few will have seen the tower change from Meridian. What did you discover?
Hades. The danger didn't end here. It went into the Forbidden West. And I have to follow.
I see. That can be difficult. The West is called forbidden for a reason. A tribe of ferocious warriors controls much of it. The Tanakh, and they allow no trespassers past its border. Let's see. Under the Sun King of Ard, a fragile peace has been negotiated. And indeed, the next embassy will take place in a day or two on the edge of the frontier. Were you to attend the gathering under his auspices, the Tanakh might grant right of passage instead of hunting you and attacking on sight.
Great, just what I need. More killers.
Sun King.
Aloy, it's good to see you. You left in such haste. We never had a chance to properly thank you.
Can we show the champion the spear now, please? Itamin, quiet.
It's true. We bear gifts. Decorum usually calls for a ceremony of offering at the palace, but I thought you would prefer a less formal occasion. Bring them, please.
Avad, this is all very kind, but I... Who's it? Vanasha.
Quick, better hand them over before she runs off again.
Really? Must you?
Try it on.
It's beautiful.
On behalf of all the citizens of the Sundom, may these tokens remind you of our eternal gratitude.
Perhaps you'd like to spend more time with your friends. Come speak to me when you're ready to depart.
我怀念我的自盾者套装，为什么不
没有继承。
I need to attach
对
the
啊，
master override to my new spear. Should be a workbench around here I can use.
当初知盾者那边很难用哎，知盾者那个要解很麻烦。
The sculptor wanted something even bigger, twice the size, covered in gold and jewels. But I was quite certain you wouldn't appreciate that.
You were right. I'm sorry, Avad. It's good to see you, but I can't stay long.
I see. I'd hoped you'd remain in the city for a time. Perhaps at the palace.
Meridian's still in danger, but it's bigger than that. To put things right, I have to go west. To Nox territory.
By the sun, that's a knock? Well, perhaps Murad already told you, but after years of hostility, we've negotiated a truce in hopes of a lasting peace. Another embassy will be held in just a day or two.
When you say years of hostility, I assume you mean the Red Raids?
Ah, yes. My favorite subject.
I wouldn't ask if I didn't need to know.
As you know, my father raided all the border tribes. Asurum, Banuk, and Nora suffered greatly, resisting as best they could. But none fought back like the Tanakh. They rose up and assaulted our western front at Barren Light, sweeping us from their lands. Getting them to talk to us again after that was tricky.
How did you get the Tanakh to talk again after the war?
The same way I got you to talk. By giving gifts.
The Tanakh like tiaras?
More like medals, spices, and relics needed during the fighting. We've met with them on several occasions, and the gifts seem to have eased the tension. But this coming embassy is the most important yet. The best sign we've had so far that the Tanakh want lasting peace.
What makes this coming embassy so special?
Well, just like today, this special because of the guest. Our delegation will meet with the Tanakh just outside Barren Light. We'll give them treasure, and they'll return a prisoner. Fashav, one of our finest soldiers.
Soldier? Don't you mean raider?
No, not in this case. Fashav is my cousin, nothing like Helis and his ilk. He joined the Western expedition with the hopes of reining in certain excesses. But he was captured during a heroic defense of our forward base at Cinnabar Sands, and has been held ever since.
Your cousin, Fashav. How long has he been a Tanakh captive?
5 years. Tanakh emissaries swear he is well, but I wonder. That tribe is renowned for its brutality. How did he survive? Well, I'll know soon enough. If you see him before I do, tell him that I await him in Meridian, where he belongs.
If I see him, I will. Itaman looks happy.
You got him out of Sunfall. Any happiness he has, he owes to you. He's turning into a fine young man, which he'll need to be if he's to inherit the crown.
Wouldn't the crown go to a son of yours first?
Yes, well, I'd have to get married for that to happen. Murad keeps throwing noble matches at me, but I find I'm always trying to make them into someone they're not. At any rate, I never aspired to the throne, and I don't wish to sit there forever. Itaman comes of age, I hope to step aside. Free of the crown. I might finally be able to travel the world. Who knows? Perhaps even accompany you on one of your adventures.
You make it sound easy. I need to get going.
One moment, Aloy. There's something I must ask you. Since you left, I've thought of little else.
This isn't really the time.
But it has to be. The way you left before, there's no way to know when I'll see you again. I'm not trying to stop you, or hold you back, but I need to know, when your mission is over, will you return to Meridian and stay? Long enough for us to spend time, to get to know each other properly, perhaps.
I do hope to see Meridian again, Avat. And you. But this mission, it's my life. It's all I can think about. I have to stay focused. What happens after? I can't imagine that. I wouldn't know where to begin.
If that place were to end up being Meridian, know that you will always receive a boundless welcome here. Tend to your mission, Aloy. I will hope for your success, and look forward to your return.
Looks like a memorial. Honoring those who fell in the battle of the Elite. Lots of brave people defended this place from Hades. Dowager Queen Masadi.
Blessed champion. Itaman, what do you say?
My humblest thanks to you, great champion, for delivering my mother and me from Sunfall, and for defending our holy city against the forces of Shadow. Did I say right?
You said it fine, Edmund. And you're welcome.
Champion, will you teach me how to shoot like a real machine hunter?
Itaman.
I have to go on an important mission, Prince.
To save the world?
Something like that. But when I come back, I could give you a few tips. It would be an honor.
We owe you our lives, champion, and we will not forget. May the sun light your way.
Watch out for Thunderjaws, champion.
切，还给我改 CV，妈的！要不是最近玩过一代就被骗过了。
That's part of the Death Layer we defeated. This machine was the last line of defense for Hades. It dragged the orb up here and then nearly killed me, but it's just a piece of scrap now.
不过这一代玩起来是目前是完全它总算是比较聪明了一点，玩法跟一些肢体上的调整是有很显著的改变，就是目前的评价还是一代好于二代，或许我要去二代才看到那个，二代的重点还在西域。
I'll be right here until you need me.
然后画面到底有没有跟应该是显示画面优先没错，偏好解析度。不能全都要吗？贴着 file 嘞。当时在那边打的时候，明明就没伤这么重。哎，话说回来，是不是有奖杯要把这全部的那个人偶干掉啊？
好像跟那个有关系耶。要不要全部打？我是不想，我很少去打人偶。
一代有啊，
对，好像。
一代有一个把超时机全部打爆，打这样，有蓄力攻击耶。
Good to see you back here, Savior.
There, the workbench. Uthid, Fanasha, thanks for being here.
Wouldn't miss it, even if you did leave us hanging after the big battle.
Vanasha, stop. She's here now, isn't she?
For the moment, but I see that look on her face. She's got business to attend to, and it isn't in Meridian.
You know, I didn't vanish before because I wanted to. I had...
No, Huntress, please. You don't have to justify yourself to us. You saved our butts. If you've got to go, go. With our blessing.
Always.
You both look like you're doing well.
Mr. Shiny Pants here is now the Sun King's senior military advisor. That means people actually have to listen to him talk? May the sun bless their sorry souls.
At least I say something of substance every once in a while.
What was that? I just fell asleep while you were talking.
And how about you, Vanasha?
I've been looking after Nasadi and Edaman. 2 parts bodyguard, 1 part...
Bad influence.
Huh. I was gonna say nanny, but I like your version better.
I never pictured you as a nanny. Edaman must be special.
Hold on now. I'm not entirely domesticated. Nasadi was the Mad Sun King's wife. She has enemies. I've had to foil a plot or 2.
Right. You can try to hide it, but inside, you're as soft as a silk pillow.
Oh, you have no idea.
Huh? Oh dear.
We were talking about Edaman?
Yeah. Okay, I admit it. Edaman's cute. He's fun. And he looks up to me. I like him. Except when he forgets to wash his hands after hooking worms in that muddy garden behind the solarium. Blech.
It's been months since I was in Sunfall. What's become of the Shadow Karja?
After you wiped out the eclipse, there were hardly any priests or officers left to terrorize the little people.
Avad offered amnesty to all who were forced to serve the Shadow. So the commoners cleaned out the citadel and handed it back to him. The Sundom was unified.
Avad wanted Uthid to take command of the garrison there, but Captain Cudley here refused. Rumor has it that he wanted to stay close to me here in Meridian.
That's nonsense, of course.
Well, I know. You're out. Go! Away with you.
Always an honor, champion.
Always a pleasure. But please, Little Huntress, come back someday and tell us about your adventures. If I can't get in trouble, at least I can hear about yours.
你有注意看吗？据那个谁，去舞蹈教室那个齐妈在讲，又换了齐妈，进城感，棒，班很齐。
Okay, master override installed. Plus, something new to store up and release energy. Resonator. Should help in a fight.
I don't respond well to happiness.
Are you ready to go? Or do you need a little more time?
I better get going. And if I'm headed west, it sounds like I'll need rite of passage from the north, as you said. Where exactly is this embassy going to be held?
Past the Daunt, the canyon that marks the western border of the Sundom. You'll find the fortress of Barren Light at its farthest edge. The embassy will take place just beyond its gates. It's a long march, a fortnight on foot.
A couple of days hard riding should get us there.
Actually, it might be better to rest here tonight. Head out in the morning.
Of course. I'll arrange it.
Am I the one to hold this crown of ashen soul? Their kindness calls to me. I have to block it out. My voice has grown so somber. These
居然有歌哎，天哪，还不错听。
开始了，对。
那个字幕不会上啊，对，
什么呀字幕？
它这个跟文字对不上啊，
哦，
笑死。
Never seen anyone use one of those to get around.
Is that how I get to Barren Light?
Yes, I mean usually, but not today. Not yet.
And why is that?
Well, the Daunt. The whole valley. It's infested with machines.
I can handle machines.
Oh, I'm sure you can, but I'm under strict orders not to operate until the whistle down at Chainscrape sounds the all clear.
Look, I didn't come all this way just to stand around and wait. I'll crank that car down myself if I have to.
Well, but then who would crank it back up? Fine, fine. Though, should anyone ask, it might be best to say you forced me.
I see smoke, but not a lot of activity.
Smoke's probably coming from something the machines wrecked. As for the quiet, well, there's a work stoppage in effect because of all the fuss.
What sort of machines are causing the trouble?
Nasty ones, and lots of them. Bristlebacks, they're called. Strangeness is, they're not native to the Daunt. Just showed up, all of a sudden.
No hunters to kill them?
Oh, we've got hunters, just none that want to cross over. Boss of Chainscrape. He is self-appointed. Work stoppage was his idea.
Yeah, well, I'm just passing through. Got an embassy to attend.
You should have said. That ain't gonna happen no time soon.
What are you talking about?
Hear that? That's your answer.
Who is that?
Karja Sun Priest. Cranked him down yesterday, about an hour before the machine trouble started. He's a very important man, or so he says. That embassy at Barren Light, he's the one supposed to run it. Ah!
Great.
If you don't do as I say immediately, the Sun King himself shall hear of your insolence. Thanks to you, I was forced to spend the night shivering in the tent, exposed to attack. I might have died. Oh, me you refuse to transport, but not this... what? This Nora girl? This savage? Besides, scallywag.
Wadis. That's Aloy.
Studious Wadis.
Aloy, you know, savior of Meridian.
Really? Well, that lessens the insult, I suppose.
I came here for the embassy at Barren Light. The way I hear it, so did you.
Well, not with the valley infested. And so did Ahriman, proclaim the Sun Priests most precious and worthy of safekeeping. See Scripture. I shall head to Barren Light when the captain of the Vanguard tells me the way is clear, and not a moment sooner.
Fine. Captain's a friend of mine, you know? Where is Erend? Wouldn't mind speaking to someone a little more action, a little less scroll.
Wadis.
Studious Wadis.
Studious Wadis sent Aaron and another vanguard out at daybreak to clear the way.
And so at daybreak...
Hey! Shh. Down the valley then?
Yeah, said they checked the ruins on the left bank for tracks. Take it from there.
Okay. I hear there's a work stoppage. Any way to upgrade my gear?
I'll bet the smith in Chainscrape would let you use his workbench. As for the bristlebacks, you might want to craft some acid arrows. Hitting their canisters with those will take them down quick.
Thanks. I'll find Erend and I'll bring him back. Hey! Where do you think you're going?
What, to the top of the ridge? To wait in safety?
Sorry. Operators under strict orders. No passengers till the whistle blows, right?
That's right. Best start cranking.
Why?
Jorf, would you kindly escort Studious to Chain Scrape and wait for me there?
Got it.
I will find Erend, and I will help clear a path. But after that, no more excuses. Barren Light. Embassy.
If such be the will of the sun.
It will be. Trust me. I gotta find Erend. But it might be good to hit Chain Scrape first and upgrade my bow.
总是一群令人讨厌的家伙，到底是怎么一回事啊？
啊？
他们不做这种令人讨厌的家伙会死啊！派出来的使节跟要跟人家吵架差不多的那种 feel。妈的，这种外交会成功？妈的，这做游戏
里面很多白痴啊。
对啊，你他妈剧情 bug 也他妈也做一些。你们不懂外交也不要派白痴嘛，就是看那种空 A 不知道该讲什么哦，我好想回去以前的地图看看哦，我可以去拜他老爸的墓天哪，养父啦，这样就看到地图很大，就看到很赞的感觉啊。开放世界就变成真开放世界。哦，现在不用那个快速行囊了啊。
什么快速行囊？
在一代的时候，你要从一个萤火到另一个萤火，你要有一个名为快速行囊的东西，啊，那个是消耗品，用了就会消耗。然后后面还出一个无限快速行囊，啊，买那个要我记得是6、7千块，哦，当初为了弄那一笔钱，真是弄到我快吐血。
火之间可以对跳啊，如果你不在火，可以用那个你讲的快速行囊的道具，用飞的，会飞到火。
啊，
就是你火对火不用钱啊。
麻烦死。
啊，然后如果你是在平常这样，就是原野上，就是你可以跳的话，可以直接用那个道具，那就是一个25块钱。
应该有无限的啦。
我是没有看到无限的啦，就是跳一次25，你再过后，那个道具一个25块钱。其实初期不太会跳，因为一直开点，你就是一直开火点。
对啊。没有啦，有时候会跳啦，那个任务的关系就跳很远。
火点对跳啊，就是你就是从火点跳火点啊。然后你跳火点被挤，然后我被跳。
可恶 ，AI 怎么变聪明了？笨笨的 AI 还是亚罗一点精髓啊！我这一代精神战好像比较好一点。一代精神战很烂，伤害不高，然后动作又慢，没有那么多技巧性的东西。
你说对方啊？
我说玩家啊。
哦。
他的近身战做的不好，一代近身战。
你的近身战会多到你之后你去训练场也刚刚起效啊，射这么多 你用不到的技能。
看情况，大部分都用潜行杀。
就是基本上你不太会那么华丽的近战啊，懂意思吗？你就没赢了呀。
对啊。
然后近战还有分那一种，就是你 R1是第一个轻攻击，那轻攻击第2下按的时间点会影响它下面出招的一个顺序，有笑哟。
格斗游戏哦，
被维护啊，
格斗游戏有浪费时间，做这细节干嘛啊？难怪这 LE2没什么要玩，这太麻烦，做这种东西太麻烦。
所以我跟你讲说，我这种训练场那个，实在是不想打，就是这样，因为它就是你就是要用近战那个按法，然后那一种按法就是很细微，有没有？时间差又不是说我连续一直按就算了。
多余的设计，大家就自以为这样就可以让玩家觉得有趣吧？
可以说我可以用华丽的技巧去干掉对方。事实上，大家发现错了，就是机器把对方打晕，然后去戳他。
那前期的那个1代前期的那个必杀是一起必杀，
这次没有啊。
对啊，
是
扣血
比较多血。
对，
人的话通常都是死掉啦，人的血比较少啊。那机械的话就戳不死啊。
以前可以直接戳死机器，我觉得光这个设定就没。
Damn brewery's the only thing I can count on in this place. Yeah, I heard. Machines, work stoppage. Oh, those are just the latest malfunctions. Chain scrape's always been a few tools short of a
但
kit.
基本上我玩的这样就是觉得说，你这早期有没有初期，基本上还是拿弓箭拆的啊，机械还是用拆的啊，能拆就是钱啊，因为钱真的太少了。
I'm just passing through. I'm headed west.
因为你直接把怪戳死那个东西很少，而且有一些东西它不会掉。
看情况，慢慢来。
Of course. Bigger gears to grind. Well, Flame Hair, good to see you. Gotta move on.
Petra.
But if you want a cold beer and a few laughs with an old friend, come find me at the brewery. Your choice.
这样我还觉得1代系统比较好。
Well, this Olvan guy sounds like trouble. Maybe Petra could use some support. But first things first, I need to find that workbench and upgrade my bow.
哇，好多支线哦！
支线多到爆炸而已。还有主线，然后支线，然后小任务，然后还有什么收集呀、契约呀。
如果说白金的话，那这个成就应该不错。不过我的游戏还不少，我这个打完还有 FF， 不管是异乡人也好，还是 S， 那叫什么？Remaker S 也好。抱歉
FF7 Remaker DLC
不是，它不叫 DLC， 它有一个叫它那改名叫 FFS 呀。我不知道，我查一下好了，干，你想不想 ？Final Fantasy Remaker 哦 ，in 不会念。我们之前玩的叫 FF7 Remaker， 然后它出在 PS5 上的叫 FF7 Remaker Inter
国际版就对了啦，那个叫国际版 International。
不是，它 Integrators。对啊 ，Google 一下是什么意思哦？集成
Intergrade，
真的叫 Integrate， 我一直想说，所以它的 FF Final Fantasy Integrate。
Shop looks closed.
Yep.
Can I still use the workbench?
靠腰，
I ain't gonna stop you.
干，直接进主线哦，画江湾。
啊，我按错。强酸猎人剑，可以升级武器倒是还不错。弹弓我不太会用那东西。造型，受高者，知盾者啦，受高者又没小，没小。呀，我有没有别的那个造型可以穿？我有那个特点呢。要窄吗？对啊，完成兑换啊。他一直在提醒我说这他妈会有光点型，这样随便。我是玩性点型，不是光点型。查一下特点。诺拉传承符跟长矛，子弹的特点在哪边改？你有用那个特点吗？
我没有啊，我没有去载。
我应该有输入代码啊。不是一般来说我输入代码就会有东西的吗？我不知道在哪边换，太尴尬了。对啊，太白痴了，我没有那个东西，我不知道在哪边换。
This should be useful.
还是在封面那边换。你看，才想到我当初我今天有弄特点。没有 有剧情回顾、版权跟工作名单。
搞腰，被 keyboard 啊！我靠背。
在仓库里面。还真的有。嗯。看看我的现在装备两个差异性啊。
靠背啊。
一样啊。哦。诺拉传承。药草容量加1，无声攻击治疗。哎呦，这个比较那个哦。
嘿嘿嘿。
挖掘者音波壳。我不能升级我的毛。
毛好像不能升级啊，因为我一直找不到有升级毛的条件。这什么奇怪的设定？就是你的毛是不能升级的，你的武器可以。
看来差在小圈那边东西。算了，收着看。有可能就算是单纯换武器而已。
Noticing me? Wonders will never cease. You just interrupt everyone you meet, or am I a special case? If the Nor
有看到 NPC 我不能跟他打招呼他头上明明有这个图示，是不是就是商人图示？我不能跟他打招呼，到底是啥样？智障了吧？我要这一代总算聪明多了，看那个他手会去攀的。一代的时候他跳上去，他手就不会动了，然后在原地跳老半天。然后我自己称为有点像巫术的东西，因为就是利用他一些东西的凸起物，然后就去跳过一个坎。啊，那个不是正规走法，小巫术。不过你那个一代那个就很不明确啊，你要找到那些地方很浪费时间，要花时间也不见得找到。之后就自己莫名其妙就找那个，看哪边可以让我塞进去去塞。
Fancy a game of strike?
还有机器出奇哦。
Revel in some strike, sister? Let me set the board.
来来
I
来，
was just passing by.
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go easy
这
on
个
you.
小游
You
戏
got any pieces?
那个我是完全还没有玩。
Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra set, a Tanakh original straight out of the Forbidden West. Sit. I'll run you through it in a
来玩玩看所谓的，看会不会又是新的
on my boards too.
昆特牌。啊，好麻烦哦，而且还不是用讲的。这样我就不太想。
I'll be here if you change your mind.
你们要胜啦，有够乱的啦，那个东西。那为什么不要做简单的游戏规则就好？算了，先打再讲。
All right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. To win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them. You see that number on the top right corner? That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move, how powerful their attacks are, the distance they can strike from, and of course, their health. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I'll explain the rest as we go. I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go. Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward. And remember, each machine can only move a certain distance. Take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Easy enough, huh? Now, you get to move 2 machines each round, so go ahead and pick a sec.
怎么有点像轻骑象棋之类的？哦，不能协走啊，只能。
Perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so we're forging onwards. Let me move my pieces here. And we're back to you. This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first. Now move the piece close enough to attack one of my machines. When performed, you'll be testing your machine's combat power against the opponent's. A machine's combat power is a combination of the terrain your machine is standing on and its own attack power. This board only has grassland terrain, which has no effect on a machine, and your current machine has. So in total, since my machine isn't the one attacking, and just like your machine, so right now, this means your. Did you get all?
好，可以理解。
Knew you were a smart one. Finish up by attack. Not pulling any punches, huh? Now grab that second machine of yours. See how your machine can... You can make your machine sprint. Try it out. Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack after it. Just overcharge your machine and attack mine. That's about it for your turn then. Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those and you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine... Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move downwards towards... You've already attacked a machine, but if you and by the look of your... You'd be sacrificing your... But sometime, overcharge your... Ain't that a thrill? Now, because your machine was knocked out at the same time as mine, we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're the one attacking, you're gonna receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points first. That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way to end a game in your favor. Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7 victory points this time, but you did destroy all my pieces. That means you're the winner! That wasn't so hard, was it? Just remember to always check for the best terrain to attack from. You'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that. I know it saved my behind in a game or two.
I'll try and remember that.
Oh, before I forget, these are all my spare pieces. I want the Savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure, but it should be enough to get you in on any strike games you find out there. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces that can turn a game in your favor, though they'll need the right materials to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. I know I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to help out new strike players. Now, if you feel like playing a real game, I've got plenty of other boards. I could even teach you a few more tricks if you're up for it.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
好，还算简单的游戏。我要浪费时间在这边呢，还是？啊，大家好。
I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your advantage? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter in Kingdom Strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting an opponent's machine, you compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machine. Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it stands. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together, my machine is standing on grass. It's also not attacking, so my combat. This means go ahead and test. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place... Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's standing on grassland terrain. This terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack power since they're defending their position. But they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting it, which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a total of 2 combat power points. If we compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead. Go ahead, try it out. Ha! See? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving backwards, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage as well. That's why breaking a machine's defenses is a great way to deal damage to several pieces at once. Useful, right? Okay, now go ahead and... Alright, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. I just want to show you what happens if you place your machine. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering for me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play. Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a machine strike master. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time. With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skills. Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up that machine on your left. Alright, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponents. In other words, its machine type. If you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff. Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner type machine here. Let's move that machine forward so we can take a look. Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram type machine. Attack an enemy with it and it'll push the piece backwards. Like this. See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beauty of a piece, a dash-type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races. You should also make sure it's able to finish its attack on an empty spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all. Here, I'll show you. Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before. There's quite a few of those, and we haven't even looked at all the machine types yet. But I'm pretty sure you've got more important things to do, so I made you a list. It's got all the tips and tricks we talked about, too. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play a real game, just let me know. Let's do this! I'm up. Board's all yours. Armor is your best friend in this game, I'm telling you. Okay, let's see. That was brutal. Oh, I thought I had that one.
知道了哈，知道的。
You know where to find me, Red.
Hey, Mildef. Mildef. I took some of your stew
什么啦？
last time I went into the wild.
没有啦，休
Kept
息
me。going for a week. Felt like I could have put a strider in a sleeper hole.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Sounds like you're serving up some impressive provisions here.
Not again. You can have the discount too, but you'll have to come back later.
I think you have me confused with someone else.
Oven didn't send you?
No.
Oh, my apologies. It's just that his minions won't stop pestering me. Now I've even worn out my special grill. Since I'm in the midst of a crisis, perhaps you could skip to what it is you wanted?
Some of your food?
Of course.
Are Ulvin's people causing you problems?
Oh, yeah. They constantly demand my best, but the equipment I need to make my signature dishes isn't built for batch cooking. And don't get me started on the Ulvin discount they feel so entitled to.
And if you refuse?
I make meals. No trouble.
How did you end up in Chainscrape?
Heard about a new and upcoming town at the edge of the frontier. Where there's a town, there's a tavern. I was in need of work. So I got myself out here and started cooking. Some of these people had never tasted proper boars and berries stew before. Anyway, next thing I knew, people kept coming back. Guess they liked my food. Or the ale.
How did you end up in Chainscrape?
Heard about a new and upcoming town at the edge of the frontier. Where there's a town, there's a tavern. I was in need of work. So I got myself out here and started cooking. Some of these people had never tasted proper boars and berries stew before.
Your last customer mentioned your cooking really kept him going out in the wild. Where I'm headed, I could use some of that.
I would be happy to oblige, especially since you have the decency to ask pleasantly. But my special groove griddle is no more. Without it, I can't cook any of my signature dishes. I hate to think what'll happen when I'm forced to refuse Ulvin or his goons. Even if I already had the right ingredients, there's nothing I can do. Unless you can source me a temporary replacement?
What do you need?
For the ingredients, a few pieces of decent wild meat, and I'd say a big handful of bitter leaf stems. That'll do. As for the griddle, a corrugated metal panel might suffice until I can have a new one forged. You'd likely find one in a scrounger pile if you follow the river to the northeast. Don't worry, I'll clean it first. You'll have no issue finding boars and bitter leaf on your way. Assuming you're as much a hunter-gatherer as your clothing suggests.
Thanks, Mildef. I'll keep an eye out.
So that's what gratitude sounds like.
And don't let anyone push you around, okay?
If you say so.
Already got enough bitter leaf. Just need to hunt for some wild meat and grab a metal panel from a scrounger pile.
Anyone see where I put my drink? Anyone? Anyone? Oh, there it is. Don't you think I forgot? Oh, hi!
threaten us all.
Oh, drop the act. We all know it was the Carja who let the bristlebacks into the valley, sent them straight through the gates of Barren Light.
That is preposterous. Why would we let dangerous machines into our own land?
You mean the land that honest Osram laborers work tirelessly with no say in its governance? The land that, should you sign the decree...
Oh, you and that damned concession decree.
...would be managed by the people who actually live and work on it.
What do you want, Olvund? Some kind of payment?
My dear magistrate, you think I can be bought? If you want that whistle blown, all you have to do is have your soldiers remove the bristlebacks and sign the concession decree. Face it, what other choice do you have?
Hi.
Savior, what auspicious timing. Might we discuss a matter of importance to the Sundom?
We might. Later.
Very well. I shall be waiting.
So, the savior herself. Walloper of Derval, gutter of youth.
Maybe.
I've heard many tales of your beauty and heroics, my fierce lady warrior. Olvund Freeholder, at your service. So, what could have dragged you away from the fine silks and wine of Meridian to this smudge of a settlement? Your singular attention must be elsewhere.
I'm here for the embassy and...
The embassy? Why, by the forge. Ah. Greater gears for greater matters. Guess that means you'll be moving on.
Once I've dealt with any problems around here that need my saviorly attention.
Ah, the bristlebacks, of course. Got to get rid of them if you want that embassy to take place. Well, best get to it, hey? And off you go.
Not so fast. You don't seem to have a high opinion of the magistrate?
Well, I refuse to play nice to some fancy-robed parchment pusher when my fellow laborers are being bullied, intimidated, and taken advantage of.
How noble of you.
Noble? Ha! Born with a hammer in hand, I was. Nobody handed me anything or dropped opportunity into my lap. Everything I've achieved, I've done on my own.
And where is this hammer now?
The burden of leadership forced me to set it aside. The Carja risk nothing, while demanding that good Osram gamble with their lives out there. Someone had to step up and say no more.
You ordered the work stoppage?
Indeed I did. We're laborers, not soldiers. Until the Carja clean up their mess and give us the fair deal we deserve, I'm not risking Osram lives.
Fair deal? You mean your concession decree?
It's not my decree. It's on behalf of all the good Osram laborers of this land who do all the backbreaking work, while only the Carja reap the rewards. All we're asking for is the ability to share in this prosperity for a land worked by the people, for the people.
Right. And just how much would be your share?
Only an amount appropriate to my contributions to this community, of course.
If Chainscrape is on Carja land, shouldn't a Carja be in charge? Who appointed you?
The sensibilities of good Osram folk, of course. You think a Carja can head this whole venture? Ah! The magistrate can barely make the trek from Barren Light without losing a few screws.
So you have no real authority then? People only follow you because you say so. Loudly.
Anyone who has followers has authority. I've been with Chainscrape from the beginning. I mean, I'm practically its founder, and its honest folk know I'm indispensable to its success.
You said you founded Chainscrape. Somehow I doubt that.
Practically founded, I said. I alone saw its potential when it was just a smattering of tents in Barren Light's shadow. I invested in the mine, convinced some friends back home to do the same, and here we are. You could say Chainscrape is what it is thanks to me.
Oh, so you're not just standing around and profiting off everyone else?
Not at all. Sure, I make a little return on my investment here and there, but my main priority, as it was from the beginning, is to look after the well-being of these honest, working Osram.
You don't seem to have a...
Well, when my fellow intimidated and...
How noble of you.
Noble? Ha! Nobody handed me anything or dropped opportunity into my lap. Everything I've achieved, I've done on my own.
And where...
The Carja... Someone had...
You don't...
Well, when my...
How...
Noble. Nobody handed... Everything I've...
And where...
The Carja risk nothing, while demanding someone had to...
You said you found...
Practically, I invested in the... You could say...
Oh, so you're...
Not at all. But my... is to look after...
Where's the whistle?
Right in the middle of town. But with the threat out there, I'm not endangering innocent Osram lives.
I'm going to clear out the bristlebacks. And when I'm done, this valley is going to get moving.
If that's what it takes. Until then, I'll keep looking after the safety of these good folk.
Just be ready to blow the whistle. Better see what that Carja magistrate wanted. I bet he's in the tavern.
Corvin and the others are doing...
What happened to you?
That damn mine is what happened to me. Won't be the last injury if Olvin keeps shoving those tongs into those tunnels.
What mine?
Northeast of Chainscrape, where the river ends. I told Corvin we should stop when the first cave-in happened, but... Olvin probably threatened to cut off her pay. Or worse.
How about you slow down and take me through it? You mentioned you were injured in a cave-in.
Yeah, a couple days ago. That's how I hurt this blasted leg. Corvin and the others were opening a new vein while I was checking on an older one. As soon as their blast hit, the tunnel I was in collapsed. Might have dodged it if I wasn't running on barely a spark of sleep. We were pushing too hard and too fast.
And you're afraid Corvin and the others might not be as lucky if it happens again.
Mm-hmm. Hit the nail right on the head.
How come Olvin's in charge? Don't these mines belong to the Carja?
Try telling Olvin that. He brought in all the backing to get them open. Might as well own them. Fire and spit. You ask him. He owns us as well.
Who's Corvin?
He's their foreman. And a damn good one. The kind that knows how to deal with management when it gets unreasonable. But Olvin, his demands go beyond unreasonable. Corvin's been doing his best to appease him. He even blamed himself for my injury when it was Olvin who ordered the extra shifts.
Sounds like a good guy.
That's why we all put up with the long hours and lousy conditions. But if the whole mine becomes unstable, I'd rather suffer Olvin's wrath than die buried in rubble.
I could check in on your crew if I'm in the area.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
还多一个小游戏，游戏本身不难玩，大概就是轻骑吧，有点像轻骑的感觉，但是加上了一些地形系统跟打弱点。不对，用轻骑来讲好像怪怪的。还不错啊，算简单。哦，所以他们现在是没开工，所以我不能跟他们买东西，是不是？有没有这白痴的事情？
啊？什么东西买东西？
就是因为我这边有看到 NPC 啊，他头上就出现那个就是那种装备的符号这样，然后我就跟他讲，他就不跟我说话啊。
哦，还没吧？
我在想说是他应该没开工，所以就，因为他们现在故事设计是他们现在停工状态，
主线还没解到一定的程度，但就是，
那就是啊，因为
没开。
因为从故事的角度来讲，他们现在是停工状态啊。那你停工就是你知道，停工就不开门啊。不过他们停工应该讲的是矿脉啊，是不是？有点奇怪。但这些人就不可以点，气死我！好吧，现在就这样，怎么设定有怎么玩。我先看一下啊，那么，不是哦，5等勇气入菜神水器。交响之曲。对嘛，那还是从火顶到火顶，那没那我觉得有用那个没用那个，其实我觉得没什么差。好，这边先存个档，先这样设定。觉得我花我今天基本上。